What is going on, My Hero Academia fans? Today, I want to dissect yet another classmate of Class 1A in the My Hero Academia universe. And today's choice is Denki Kaminari. I like to call him Denki because he's a cool kid. He really is. From the minute you see him, he looks like a anime protagonist. The design of his character truly fits somebody who could just be a lead of the story. He's got a very powerful quirk if it didn't have such a shitty setback to it. He can produce electricity bolts and shock the crap out of people. And with hero support items, he can shoot it at people directly without hurting his friends, which is pretty cool. He's, like I said, got a cool design. He's got a decent superhero outfit. I feel like it could be better. Think about characters like Static Shock. I like to compare them because he could easily be a Static Shock type character if he could use the electricity to fly on some kind of support item. That'd be cool. And I'm not here to predict things that can happen necessarily, but I want to dissect this character. He hasn't really had a lot of moments of note, to be honest. He's had more than most of Class 1A, but I mean, he hasn't had a huge moment like I feel Ida has had or Kirishima has had. They both have had large portions of character development, where I feel as Denki, Kaminari does not feel fully fleshed out, to be honest. And I know he's got some big moments coming up in the anime. I've read the entire manga. I want to get that out of the way. And I know he's got some big shiz coming up. Sorta, kinda, I guess, in the big war coming up with the villains. He's got a cool moment, I guess you could say. And you know for sure, I want to get past this part as well, shipping-wise, he's probably going to end up with Jiro. They've teased your relationship many times, and especially in the war arc in MHA manga. You can tell they have feelings for each other, whether they be friendship or not. I feel like that is the perfect combination. I can't imagine another ship for our boy Denki. He is a good friend with Mineta, and he's also good friends with Kirishima and Bakugo. He's part of that trio. For a long time, I thought they were all going to just be the three best friends that anybody could have. But Denki's just kind of also friends with Midoriya and really good perverted friends with Mineta for some reason. But not always, just sometimes. Like I said before, he's got a major setback. If he uses too much power, his brain gets fried for a certain period of time. Let's talk about what he's done of note that I can remember off the top of my head. In Season 1, he got to have a pretty big moment during the USJ attack where he teamed up with Momo and Jiro. And we actually got to see his powers in what you call it. We got to see them in action. And we got to see what his powers really are, if I remember correctly. I think that might have been the first time we actually got to see him do stuff. And he electrocuted a bunch of villains. Momo had to create like a blanket to protect him and Jiro. And I might be missing one other character that was with them. I just remember those three in particularly. We got to see his setbacks where his brain gets fried. He got to fight. It was like a little moment with him and one of the villains that also had an electric quirk. I can't remember how they took him down. Meh, doesn't really matter. But in season 2, during the sports festival, he got a big moment going one-on-one with Vines from Class 1B in the finals of the sports festival in the 16-man tournament bracket portion of the tournament. So he did make it to there, which is pretty cool. I mean, he kicking butt, taking names. I thought really he would have been cool if he made it past round 1, but when you really think about it, Denki doesn't have a whole lot going for him, and Vines from Class 1B is probably one of their most OP members, and she eradicates him in round 1, wraps him up in her hair vines, and he is subdued, and he loses rather easily. In the first movie, he got to be part of a perverted duo with Mineta. Not much after that. He got to discharge at one point and fry his brain. He just seems to do that a lot. That seems to be his one-note thing, where he discharges his full power and he does the little thumbs up goofy face, which I laugh at every time. And I hope they do it more often in the anime. I think they've kind of moved away from it. To be honest, lately in the anime, it feels like it's all about Shoto, Midoriya, and Bakugo, which I think are great characters, but I think we've left characters like Denki in the dust. He's got no character development. Sadly, because there's also a lot of theories online, if you haven't heard this theory, about Denki being the traitor, the one who's been feeding information to the League of Villains. I'm actually at the point in the story where I feel like they've kind of given up on that plot point of having a traitor. They brought up multiple times, though, possibly in the school as a student or a teacher. But I think it would have been so cool. I've heard this theory. I don't know who came up with it. But the idea that Denki has been pretending to have a weak quirk, that he's been pretending that it fries his brain when he uses it too much. Because in all honesty, if that became true, if it became true that Denki's been fucking around and pretending to be a goofball that is perverted and pretending that he's weak, not weak necessarily, but pretending like he's not a threat, by having that major weakness, but he performs terribly on tests, so he looks less likely to be a villain. Maybe he's actually a genius, and he knows exactly how to answer these tests to the point where he won't get expelled, but he will also be ranked 20 in their test-taking rankings when they took them in season 2, at the end of season 2, and I believe him and Mina Ashido team up at the end and fight the principal of UA, and they lose. So he loses his little test with the teachers or whatnot, and he has to do extra classes. I don't know. But there's a theory about Denki being the traitor, the one who told the League of Villains where they were when they were at their summer camp, the one who betrayed them. And I think he is truly the perfect choice. And I've heard this, and when I heard it, I thought, that makes so much sense. Is this a spoiler? I wasn't caught up in the manga at the time when I first heard it, and I thought, man, what if this is a spoiler? What if he really is the traitor? And now that I'm all caught up, it doesn't feel like Denki could be the traitor at this point. He's caused some major damage to the League during the war arc. It'd be shocking, honestly, if he was the traitor. There was a point in the manga where Shigaraki needed a shock of electricity to wake up, where he broke out. They messed up his whole downloading of a bunch of quirks, and there was a point where he needed his heart started or some bullshit, some electrical current to get him going. And I thought this would be the perfect moment for Denki to show up, shock Shigaraki into life, and start his traitorous ways. Unless he did off screen and we don't know about that, and he was the one. I think it was like a wire that hit some water or something that actually shocked him awake. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like Denki could have been that guy. He's the electric guy. What if it was him this whole time? What if Denki's been this secret agent for the League all this time? At this point, he's been such a mainstay and such a popular character. I think he's a very popular character, despite the fact that he hasn't had a major fight throughout the series. I'm trying to think about anything he's done that mattered, at least in a one-on-one setting. He mostly gets his ass kicked unless he just completely discharges everything he has, and he never beats anybody of note. Even in the second movie, he had an opportunity to maybe beat that mummy guy, and I think it would have been really cool if they allowed Denki to be the one to beat the mummy fella from movie 2 of My Hero Academia. Heroes Rising or some shit. 2 Heroes. I think 2 Heroes was the first one and Hero Rising was the second one. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Both titles would work for either one. They're very confusing in that way. There's not like the name of the villain as the title. 7, or was it 7 or 9? I think his name was 9. Either way, I think Denki could have had a major moment there, kind of like when Tailman went head to head with Chimera, and he got to hold his own. I thought that was a cool moment. Denki did get to block attack from 9, and that was cool. He was basically a electric current rod and saved Bakugo and Midoriya from dying. One thing Denki's not had during all this time throughout the series, they've had Midoriya and Bakugo and Shoto have all been, even Ida and Uraraka have all had these mentors that teach them things and get them to be better. Even though Ida's is the normal hero and Uraraka was Gunhead, I believe. But now it is the Dragoon hero lady. The Dragon Lady. It feels like Kaminari should be training under somebody like Rocklock, or he would have been a perfect person to train under somebody like Fat Gum. But Kirishima, I feel like the creator decided it's either going to be Kirishima or Denki that's going to get character development. I can't do both. It's not happening. I'm only picking one. And he flipped a coin. It landed on heads. And our boy Kirishima got major character development and has now become one of the strongest members of Class 1A. And is very important to the story, in my opinion. And has had just so much more than even Ida. And Ida's a badass as well. He's a top tier dude. And I don't feel like Kaminari has been given his just desserts. There are characters like Annie Voice, I think his name's Coda. There's characters like Tailman, Sugar Man. They don't, in my opinion, need necessarily their own arc to develop. But Denki, look at him. He looks like an MC. He looks like a main character, and he looks like somebody that deserves he deserves his own arc. He deserves some backstory. I want to know more about this kid. Is he really just this brain-dead teenager? I don't understand. I feel like there's so much more you could tell with Denki. I think that Denki should turn out to be a villain. Could you imagine what a mother effing twist. I think it'd be impossible. It'd be so out of left field at this point in the manga, but it's exactly what the manga needs, in my opinion. It's kind of slowed down so much, and Shigaraki and All for One, it's slowed down, but actually it's picked up at the same time. I don't know. But it feels like we need more character development for these. There's a huge Class 1A that have nothing really going on except for Midoriya and Bakugo and Shoto. And it feels like one of them needs to take off and be like, I'm going to be a bad guy now. And I've always been, actually, and I've been lying to you this whole time. But what a nutty twist that would be, especially since he's just become such a mainstay. And I feel like they just wouldn't do that maybe for toy sales. I don't know. It would make me so happy, though, if he decided to turn on the school. I think that if he's been a spy this whole time, I've already mentioned his quirk could be OP if he's been pretending that it has setbacks this whole time. Imagine Static Shock versus Bakugo, basically, is what he could be. He could be the Static Shock of this world. He could be the Black Lightning of this world. The electric superhero that we've always wanted to see. But a super villain. A super villain. He could probably use his powers to fly, as I mentioned. He could be the ultimate mini-boss, basically. He doesn't need to turn coat and be the main villain, obviously. Maybe he's been working for All for One this whole time. Or maybe he's All for One's child or grandchild. This guy's so old, he could be All for One's grandchild. Who knows? This whole time, pretending, just getting the right grades just to make it into the class, just to spy on the school. And then finally, one day says, it's time. You know, All for One's been saving this in his back pocket. Maybe after Shigaraki gets defeated. And he needs that second vessel. He needs that second prodigy. And it's always been his grandson, Denki. Denki decides, I'm not even named Denki. It's a fake name. Decides all these things, and he goes one-on-one. Could you imagine a beefed-up Kaminari who's been powerful this whole time, and he goes head-to-head, even if he's just somebody for Kirishima to fight? It'd be perfect. Hard as rock versus electric powers. Or Bakugo. Oh my god, Bakugo versus Kaminari? What a cool final fight for Bakugo. This kid he thought was his friend, and he turns out to be this villain underneath his nose. Maybe Denki kills somebody like Jiro. Somebody who, oh my god, could you imagine if Denki turned villainous, kills Jiro? I always thought that a member of Class 1A needs to die, so it feels like something dangerous could happen at any moment. And at some point when he turns, he kills her. Maybe because they've been teasing this relationship with them this whole time, and maybe it's all been a lie. And he kills her and proves how evil he really is, and how powerful he really is. Oh my god. And then that death sparks Bakugo versus Denki. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm still trying to think of anything of note that he's done other than go full super electric shock on all the villains in the general area and then goes dumb for an hour. There's a part where Bakugo threatens him for money or some shit, and he does make him go super electrical explosion so he can make everybody laugh when they're all sad after they save Bakugo. I think that was actually Bakugo's money. I don't think he took his money. But, like I keep saying, Denki has so much potential. Even if they don't want to turn him into a villain, he's got all this power that they haven't developed yet. If he can get past this dumb, not dumb, like him turning dumb, setback. I love when these superheroes have setbacks. They have limitations. And it's okay. If this is his limitation, he can only put out so much energy, that's fine. But I think he deserves a little bit of a beef up, a little bit of a power up, if you will. And I think he deserves, if he's going to stay a hero, which I think he will. I don't think at this point they're going to turn any of these kids, they're marketable people. They need to power this kid up so he can go head to head with somebody like Mr. Compress. I don't know. He needs a villain that he can take down. He needs a story. Maybe his parents get killed. I don't know. But he needs some development. He can't just be this goofball forever. I want some development for him. I want some development for some of the Class 1A students that haven't gotten the Ida or Kirishima treatment. And I think it's Denki's time. What do you guys think? Can you write in the comments what you think about Kaminari? Denki. What do you think about Denki? Do you think Denki deserves more? Do you think Denki should turn into a villain? Do you think Denki should stay a hero but get much stronger and get in a major fight plus a major arc developing himself and anybody he might love? I don't know. Or maybe, just maybe, Denki's the one that makes the ultimate sacrifice that I've been talking about. I think a member of Class 1A needs to make the ultimate sacrifice, whether they get killed surprisingly or they get killed sacrificing themselves to save somebody like Bakugo or save somebody like Midoriya. I don't know. But Denki deserves a moment. He deserves his moment. I don't think he's had it yet. He's been the brunt of most of the jokes, and in a lot of ways, he's the Yamcha of My Hero Academia. That's right, I said it. He's, out of the main characters that actually get a little bit of screen time, he's kind of the Yamcha. I'm Mr. Morfetto, and I will talk to you later. This has been another character dissection of a My Hero Academia character, Denki Kaminari.